Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Now, more and more articles have been coming out from people mentioning how they're starting to buy silver and sell their gold, dumping their gold because they're starting to see more opportunity, more potential in silver. This is really exciting news because most of the time, 9 times out of 10, an investor, especially coming from the outside in, is going to feel that gold is the more profitable investment. We've even seen the same thing happen with silver miners abandoning silver mines, focusing on mining gold and other metals because they're more profitable. The top three silver producers in the whole world, Mexico, Peru, and Chile, have been abandoning silver mines. So silver production is extremely low. Now, I think people are catching wind of this. The more it's getting talked about, the more these articles are releasing the actual information, not just writing their opinions on these markets. As more facts get to the surface, more people are starting to realize, hey, silver really is undervalued. I've seen more articles than ever, recently about silver and how much opportunity and how much potential silver has. I've been covering silver and gold for a very long time now. I mean, this channel's 2 or 3 years old itself, but I've been in the investing world for 6, 7 years now, and I've seen more people actually considering silver as a real investment, not just a commodity. And I want to talk about that a little bit because most of the time people look at silver as a commodity and gold as an asset. And I think it's backwards. Gold is more of a commodity, and I feel like silver is more of an asset. Gold is used more for jewelry, more for necklaces, more for stuff like that. Silver is more used or widely used in the industrial world for our gadgets, for our electronics, stuff like that. So I don't see how gold is more of an asset. It's not used or it's not as beneficial in this stuff that you're watching, the laptop you're using to watch this video, or the cell phone you're using, or anything. Silver is used for so many different things, whether it's dental alloys, solar panels. There's so many things in the medical world it's used for. There's colloidal silver, there's silver nanoparticles. There's so many things that silver is used for and has been used for thousands of years. And I think that the more that people realize this, the more that these YouTube channels are doing their duty to mention this, whether it's the historical benefits that silver has played throughout the time of history and biblical times and Egyptian times, how silver was equivalent to $1 back in the day. I mean, not $1, but an ounce of gold. But 1 ounce of silver was equivalent to 1 ounce of gold. And actually, our money was backed by dollars back in the day, just to kind of switch that up. But I think nowadays people, the lack of knowledge, the lack of information that got cut off from historically to now, we have separated and detached silver's value as something that really holds, that really has a majority of the vote. Most people will vote gold over silver all day long. Most people want gold necklaces instead of silver just because it's more expensive. But if you're looking from the fundamental point of view, it's not much more valuable. It's only coming out of the ground 8 to 1, so it's not like it's much more rare. And actually, it's less than 8 to 1 because a lot of gold is recycled. A lot of silver gets lost because people don't scrap out silver in laptops and stuff like that. And miners are focusing more on gold mines right now. So actually, there probably is more gold getting dug up out of the ground since miners have been abandoning silver mines. So if you're really looking at it, silver is not much more, scarce than gold is, if anything, or gold isn't much more scarce than silver is. And I think that right now in a society, in an economy, investors are starting to finally see this and finally understand the potential that lies behind it. Because yes, there is industrial uses. Yes, there is beneficial uses to your silver stack, hedging against the dollar, hedging against inflation because the dollar's collapsing. And I think that people are trying to look more for any, out of any time period, more people are trying to look for realistic opportunities or realistic solutions, and precious metals are the answer that they're finding. Because back in the day, stock markets were everything. That was the thing. If you wanted to invest, you invest in the stocks. But nowadays, I feel as more controversy arises, as more things happen with the US China trade wars, with the Fed rates getting cut, with the oil fields, all the stuff that's going on in Hong Kong, all that stuff is stirring controversy and really making people reflect on the directions they're going with their investments. So, as I was reading these articles about people dumping their gold and buying silver, it really intrigued me because this really shows how silver is catching the spotlight, is catching the drift of gold. Because usually gold is silver's, big brother, and gold usually appreciates much faster, and then silver has to catch up, over the next couple months. But in a healthy market, silver has to start appreciating past gold because the gold to silver ratio is still 84 to 1, meaning it takes 84 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold, which is extremely high since I've mentioned previously all of the ratios and the reasons why silver should be a lot, higher compared to gold. Silver should be around $300 if gold's 1,500. So we see some people saying gold should be $3,000. So if gold's $3,000, then what should silver be? 800? You can look at things like usdebtclock.org that shows silver's price at like $300 and all that stuff, comparing it to the dollar or what the dollar could be, and all that stuff. There's a lot of conspiracies and ways to look at it from a technical standpoint, but I don't like doing that because it's misleading people to really think out. It misleads them, and I don't want to mislead my audience. Silver right now is still cheap, and that's why you should be buying it though. You shouldn't be holding off, or you shouldn't be looking at silver as, oh, it's cheap, it's not a good investment. You should be looking at it, oh, it's cheap, this is a perfect opportunity for me to buy it before it rockets up. Most people look at it as, oh, it's a bear market, silver is not going anywhere, you shouldn't invest your money. In reality, they should be saying, whoa, silver's still only $17. This is a great chance for me to buy a lot of it before it starts to appreciate, which if you look at all the indicators, it's blatantly obvious that it's going to appreciate. So I must, I better start accumulating some silver right now for cheap to lower my dollar per cost average before it accumulates so I can get profits. But most people don't look at it that way. They look at it backwards, and you can see how, from an investor standpoint or investor's point of view, how dangerous that is, or how silly it is, how everything is flipped, and that's because they're looking at it from a dollar standpoint. If you're pegging your investments to the dollar, and if you're trying to chase the dollar, you're always going to miss the whole picture. You're not going to see the bigger picture. You're going to miss key fundamental things, indicators that will show you exactly where you should be going. So yes, the gold to silver ratio is still extremely high, but it is lowering. It was 95 to 1 a couple months ago. So don't think that the ratio is something that you should be determining the prices off of or the value off of. I rarely would ever say the gold to silver ratio is accurate. It's extremely out of whack, even at 85 to 1 or 84 to 1. Right now, I think the ratio should be around 50 to 1. Historically, it's 40 to 1. I've seen it as low 70s, but I think that for a healthy ratio, it should be around 40 or 50 to 1. I mean, obviously, it should be even lower than that, but I have to think realistically. It's not going to ever get lower than that unless something dramatically large happens in the economy for silver to appreciate or gold to do the opposite, whether it's a shortage or something else. But with the markets, with the manipulation at bay, I don't know what's going to happen or how that could happen because there still is a lot of strings behind the scenes being pulled, a lot of people behind the scenes, moving the markets around and influencing the prices and pushing and pulling at certain parts. And there's only so much that we can do. There's only so much that we can catch of it. We've seen J.P. Morgan do it. We've seen Merrill Lynch do it, and I'm sure there's bigger hands at bay with more money doing it that haven't been getting caught. So it's definitely a real thing. I'm not saying that silver and gold's in a bubble, but there is people behind the scenes manipulating these markets. So who knows to what extent, and who knows how much of the markets are going to be influenced over the next couple of years, because that's really what the main question lies, is if there is people doing this shady stuff behind the scenes, how much of the market are they manipulating, and are they going to get caught, and to what extent is it influencing the prices? Could silver be $20-$30 right now if JP Morgan wouldn't have been spoofing the exchanges or the markets? And if Merrill Lynch wouldn't have been doing that or wouldn't got caught, what would the prices be right now? Because they still invest in the silver and gold. It's just they're trying to spoof the markets to shoot the price down, scare people, and then buy it while it's cheap to get the price back up, and then they profit off of it, or they capitalize off of that, off of people's fear, or off of people's lack of knowledge, or of their own greediness. So that's pretty much how it lies. But anyways, I want to wrap this video up here. I'm curious what you guys are doing right now. Are you buying silver and selling your gold, or are you stacking both? Stacking into both. Diversity is definitely key. Diversity has a lot of fundamental components to it that can benefit you. I actually made a video earlier today talking about that. So if you want to go check that out, make sure you do. I definitely think you'll enjoy that. Also, check out the other videos I posted today. I've been working my butt off today, pumping out videos for you guys, trying to give you guys some enjoyable content, some educational content to binge watch on, so you can get your best peak performance choices and decisions perspective when it comes into the world of precious metals. But anyways, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. As you know, I post daily videos, so if you want to stay tuned in the world of precious metals on a day-to-day basis, what's going on, what are the prices, what's the news behind it, make sure you just subscribe to this channel. But thank you guys for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.